King Arthur's family grew throughout the centuries with King Arthur's legend. Several of the legendary members of this mythical king's family became leading characters of mythical tales in their own right. Geoffrey of Monmouth era. Relatively few members of Arthur's family in the Welsh materials are carried over to the works of Geoffrey and the romances. His grandfather and Lord Wledic and his maternal uncles, aunts and cousins do not appear there, and neither do any of his sons or his paternal relatives. Only the core family seem to have made the journey. His wife Gwenllifa, his father Eutha, his mother and his sister's son Gwalchmai. As Roberts has noted, Gwalchmai's mother, Arthur's sister, failed to make the journey, Gwydiar's place being taken by Anna, the wife of Loth, in Geoffrey's account, whilst Medrawd is made into a second sister's son for Arthur. In addition, new family members enter the Arthurian tradition from this point onwards. Eutha is given a new family, including two brothers and a father, while Arthur gains a sister, Morgan le Fay, and a new son, Llewellyn. Increations Eric and denied the Pearl's Vows and the Vulgate cycle. Another significant new family member is Arthur's half-sister Morgase, the daughter of Gaulois and Igerna and mother of Gawain and Mordred in the French romances. In the Vulgate Mortatu we find Mordred's relationship with Arthur once more reinterpreted, as he has made the issue of an unwitting incestuous liaison between Arthur and this Morgase, with Arthur dreaming that Mordred would grow up to kill him. This tale is preserved in all the romances based on the Mortatu, and by the time we reach Malory's La Morte d'Arthur, Arthur has started to plot, Herod-like, to kill all children born on the same day as Mordred in order to save himself from this fate. A third half-sister, Elaine, is also added at this time. Through his sisters, Arthur is given further nephews who become Knights of the Round Table. Children and her children. Although Arthur is given sons in both early and late Arthurian tales, he is rarely granted significant further generations of descendants. This is at least partly because of the premature deaths of his sons in these legends. Amra is the first to be mentioned in Arthurian literature, appearing in the 9th century Historia Britannicum. There is another wonder in the region which is called Ursing. A tomb is located there next to a spring which is called Licat Amra, and the name of the man who was buried in the tomb was called thus, Amra. He was the son of Arthur the soldier, and Arthur himself killed and buried him in that very place. And men come to measure the grave and find it sometimes 6 feet in length, sometimes 9, sometimes 12, sometimes 15. At whatever length you might measure it at one time, a second time you'll not find it to have the same length, and I myself have put this to the test. Why Arthur chose to kill his son is never made clear. The only other reference to Amra comes in the post-Alfredian Welsh romance Geraint, where Amhar, son of Arthur, is one of Arthur's 4 chamberlains along with Bedwyr's son, Amran. Gwydir is similarly unlucky, being slaughtered by the giant Bortwrch in Culchen Olwen, along with 2 of Arthur's maternal uncles. No other references to either Gwydir or Arthur's uncles survive. More is known of Arthur's son Clashew. He is one of the 3 well-endowed men of the island of Britain, according to Triad number 4, and he fights alongside Kay in the early Arthurian poem Parger Yvy Porthor. Like his father as in Y Gododin, Clashew appears in the 12th century and later Welsh poetry as a standard of heroic comparison, and he also seems to have been similarly a figure of local topographic folklore too. Taken together, it is generally agreed that all these references indicate that Clashew was a figure of considerable importance in the early Arthurian cycle. Nonetheless, Clashew too dies, with the speaker in the pre-Galfredian poem YMD didn't Gwaed no Garan here at Gwyn Faben Udd, remembering that he had been where Clashew was slain, the son of Arthur. Awful in songs, when ravens croaked over blood. Finally, Loeolt is treacherously killed by Sake so that the latter can take credit for the defeat of the giant Logran in the Pearl's Vows, while another son, known only from a possibly 15th century Welsh text, is said to have died on the field of Camlan. Sand, a bride angel, drive the crow off the face of Duran. Dearly and belovedly his mother raised him. Arthur sang it Medrawd. Mordred is an exception to this tradition of a childless death for Arthur's sons. Mordred, like Amra, is killed by Arthur at Camlan, according to Geoffrey of Monmouth and the post-Alfredian tradition, but, unlike the others, he is ascribed 2 sons, both of whom rose against Arthur's successor and cousin Constantine with the help of the Saxons. However, in Geoffrey's Historia, Mordred was not yet actually Arthur's son. Later literature has expanded Arthur's family further. Richard Johnson's 16th-century romance Tom a Lincoln adds another illegitimate son, the eponymous Tom. Through Tom, Arthur is also given grandsons referred to only as the Black Knight and Fairy Knight. Other works, such as Henry Fielding's Tom Thumb, Walter Scott's The Bridal of Triamain, and modern film and television adaptations of Arthurian legend, have occasionally given Arthur daughters, diverging from the earlier legends. Bibliography. Bromwich R. Trioedanus Priadine, The Welsh Triads. Bromwich R. and Simon Evans, D. Culchen Olwen, an edition and study of the oldest Arthurian tale. Bryant N. The High Book of the Grail, a translation of the 13th-century romance of Pearl's Vows. Co. J. B. and Young S. The Celtic Sources for the Arthurian Legend. Green, T. The Historicity and Historicization of Arthur. Arthurian Resources, retrieved on the 22nd of June 2007. Green, T. Tom Thumb and Jack the Giant Killer. 2 Arthurian Fairy Tales. In Folklore 118.2, pp. 123-40. Green, T. Concepts of Arthur, ISBN 978-0-7524-44611. Hyam, N. J. King Arthur, Mythmaking and History. Jones, T. and Jones, A. The Mabinogion. Kibola, W. and Carroll, C.W. Arthurian Romances. Lacey, N. J. Lancelot Grail, The Old French Arthurian Vulgate and Post-Vulgate in Translation, 5 vols. Paddle, O. J. Arthur in Medieval Welsh Literature, ISBN 978-0-7524-44611. Roberts, B. F. Geoffrey of Monmouth, Historia Regum Britannia and Brood Y. Brenhinad in R. Bromwich, A. O. H. Jarman and B. F. Roberts, The Arthur of the Welsh, pp. 98-116. Rowland, J. Early Welsh Saga Poetry, a study and edition of the Englinian. Sims Williams, P. The Early Welsh Arthurian Poems in R. Bromwich, A. O. H. Jarman and B. F. Roberts, The Arthur of the Welsh, pp.